Do you remember those times in your life when you were forced to wear a fancy outfit, sing, and dance on stage for a 2 hour Christmas concert? The ones where everyone was almost always out of key? The ones where there's a solid 50-50 chance whether a kid is either crying or vomiting absolutely everywhere? Well, that was me in 2016 at the ripe age of 11, and most likely a lot of you as well. This is also what we refer to as children's theater. Not certainly as bad as the ones we usually had to do when we were youngsters, for sure, but these theatrical performances are usually professionally done and are considered theater for younger audiences. Still confused? Well, you've come to the right place. Today's video will be about the topics and whereabouts of the concept of children's theater. And totally isn't an assignment for my drama class. Yay! Before we get into anything too deep, we must ask one question first. What is children's theater? Children's theater is like any other theatrical performance, but for kids. This includes the topics that are usually tailored to children's interests like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, or The Wizard of Oz. The lengths are dumbed down from an average 2 to 2.5 hours to only 60 to 70 minutes maximum. This is because the little attention span of children from ages 4 to 14. There are different subgenres of children's theater, like there are our usual theater. Some examples would be simple plays, puppetry, musicals, dances, or even circus acts. I know it says circus acts in the script, but I'm gonna be so honest, I can't see any circus acts being done. These plays often contain acts of fourth wall breaking, audience participation, problem solving, and overall engagement. Now that we've wrapped our head around the idea of children's theater, how about we go into a little bit of history about it? You may or may not be wondering, how did this all come together? We already have regular theater. Why do we need a genre but with children? Well, I don't exactly have an answer for that, but we can most likely search for an answer by going through the history of children's theater as a whole. Before becoming a separate genre of its own, in the early 19th century, the shows often consisted of puppet shows and home performances. Theater for children usually appeared in home settings and educational contexts. Later, around the early 20th century, the concept of theater for younger audiences as a whole separate genre emerged around World War I. In 1918, Russian actress Natalia Satz funded the first ever theater specifically made for children in Moscow, Russia. Following Natalia, similar groups were created in England, the US, France, and Czechoslovakia to also support the act of children's theater. Canada's first ever children's theater opened in 1953. Finally, why does it all matter? When I was younger, I always believed that doing the silly little Christmas concerts didn't have much significance and were mainly for only the holiday spirit. I never thought that I could be so wrong. I mean, I wasn't complaining about free periods through the day to do absolutely nothing most of the time aside from occasional singing and dancing. These plays, as much as they seem, are actually extremely educational and developmental for children. It enhances our social and emotional tolerance as well as skills. An example of those skills would simply be our imaginary spark. The act of a play allows kids to explore new worlds and different emotions that they can most likely learn of and grow on in the future. Now, what do you think of children's theater? What are your opinions on it? I personally had a lot of fun writing this and researching, and I'd hope that everyone who does decide to watch this is a little more informed on the topic, because I don't see anything like this talked around much, so I hope you all have a wonderful day, afternoon, night, wherever you are. Bye!